discussed about how we can use the effects, right? So we learned about working with technically the responsive designs. For that, how do we use the options? So one example we learned. Some more options we will discuss. We learned about the media queries in the responsive design. Right. In creating this responsive design, we learned about the media queries, working with the media queries with height, orientations, how do we change, and one more pointing device and all. Actually, working with other designs, samples, that means designing for mobile, designing for other type of contents. So we will see with some examples later, right? We will understand with some examples later. Why? Because so we just learned about only few options, and usually after understanding these options, so we can create some effects. So positioning, grids, floats and all. To create all responsive perfectly, we need several other options also to understand. So with only one option, you cannot manage everything, right? Yeah. So after creating how we can, after understanding how we can use these display styles, media points actually. Majority, you have to correctly understand why we need media and how do we work with the media. As I told you that we can have the media queries with the multiple conditions, configure them with multiple conditions. So layouts and conditions configured. In our previous examples, we used one simple example of previously, this one. So orientation, how we can handle. So width and height and media queries. And one more option is about how we can use the logic in media queries actually. Logic in media queries is nothing special actually. Logic in media queries is nothing but I already showed you width and height. I showed you the orientation and pointing devices like options how we can use. Right. So in order to create here, when we want to design for media queries, conditions I told you in the beginning itself. Right. What we can do is we can write multiple conditions defining the width and height. Right. So we can add conditions. Actually, conditional is nothing but condition will allow to define with logical and logical or and configure the details actually. That means if width is this, width is height, I already told you that we cannot use minimum width. We cannot use directly width and height for that. So we have to use a combination of width and height, right? So we will see generally how we write the media queries one simple example. I will show you just an option because some more configurations are there. So some more configurations are there we need to understand, right? Yeah. So what are those other options is it is not just at the net media. We can define by using options like viewport. You have to understand as viewports that through meta we can handle that. Meta we can handle that, right? So some conditions how we can logically apply, I will show you. Means generally, just what we have to do is, so logical operators in media queries, already we know. So and we discussed that the operators are logical operators that we use in the media queries. Let me give a tabular form. So operator and description. A simple description and operator. Right. Right. So what are the operators available and how we can manage them? Actually, we have operators, and is one operator. And it is used for combining multiple media features together into single media query. It's very simple, right? It is used to combine multiple media features into multiple media features together into a single media query. So into single media query like this. And we have not, usually not, it is used to negate a media query. Used to negate a media query. So that means if the query is true, then it is returning false actually. If the browser is returning true, then it will negate it into false, right? So that is what actually negation. Another one is only. We can use only also in the media queries. It is used to apply a style only if entire query matches. To apply a style only if entire query matches. So it is used to define that. It is useful for it is used mostly for mostly for legacy browsers. Legacy browsers are very old version browsers. Legacy browsers are old version browsers, right? So for legacy type of browsers, it will change into specific format. So it will allow us to define, right? And one more operator is comma operator, that is comma, right? So its intention is it is used to combine multiple media queries into a single rule. Multiple media queries are combined by using at the net. So, but at the net contains, end. Inside and again, there can be multiple media queries. Multiple media features are combined into a query. Multiple queries are combined into one by using comma, right? That's what we define. So that is what actually point is. Suppose difference is nothing but Here what we do is we write @media and a screen. So this is one media query. This is query for screen. Another is print. This is for query for print. That means you are defining multiple queries into single rule actually. Multiple query into single rule, right? That's what actually we are configuring and defining, right? Now, how we need to define the complex media queries, combine and define the media queries. Some examples. So we will see how we can define and configure. Like last session, we already written combining multiple types of features. So let's see one example how we can define multiple features. So that means an example for combining multiple types of features, media features. How we can add multiple types of media features. One example we will see here in our shopping site. Multiple media features, how you can combine. So this is the media. So I'm defining the media features. Multiple media features, how we can do. That means usually what we do is, so here we are configuring. So the features, the first feature is suppose min width, and min width is suppose some 200. Min width is 200 pixels. That is the option. Minimum width is 200 pixels. And orientation is landscape. Then end, you have to define orientation. Orientation is landscape. We define the feature in this way. Define the feature in this way. That means we are combining multiple here. That means if minimum width is 200 and orientation is landscape. In landscape orientation 200. So then it will change that into that particular color. Body background color will be applied with that. That is how generally we define. That means in landscape. So that means here we are adjusting this. So we are adjusting this more than that. So actually it is some 500. Right. That means actually up to the 500 and in landscape mode. So it will be adjusted for that. So correctly at 500, so minimum width it will be adjusted. Now important is its orientation also should match. So if it is more than that 500, then it will get into this. Right, because 500 is too huge, we defined. So 300 we can give. And in landscape orientation only it will work. That means both should match actually, both should match. So landscape orientation and the 300. So this is actually a combination of multiple media features, combining multiple media features. We can define in several ways actually. That means we can say that we can write along with the query also. That means if it is screen, media is screen and minimum width is 300, then it is. We can use combination also of features and query. This is media query and these are media features. These are in the parentheses, whatever are there, they are media features. Already I told you. There can be feature and there can be query. Query is only one. Features are several combined. So that is another option. That means you can define in this way also. we can define in this way also. This is another example of that. So we can use a combination like this, define combination in this way. We can, we can test for multiple queries. We can test for multiple queries. So that means for screen, for script, for print, we can define multiple queries. So that means we can add multiple queries. For example, if I say I'm defining here, so multiple queries here. Suppose I said for print, for print. So, and we defined min width. So for print, for screen, because width is for screen. For screen, I'm adding orientation as landscape or orientation as portrait. I told you two options, that is. So portrait. So for orientation is portrait, or orientation is landscape. So landscape, yeah. Orientation is landscape. So, and it is screen. And we want multiple also to define here. That means we can also configure as, suppose we can also define as min width or min height. We defined minimum height. So is a minimum width is equal to some 500 pixels and comma, and we are defining this. This is a combination of multiple queries actually. This is multiple queries. This is combination for multiple queries. So these are one feature. So this is the query for one feature. And this is the query for another feature, orientation. There can be combination of multiple queries. There can be combination of multiple features. And you can have a combination of both of them. So how we can handle a combination of both of them? This is combination of multiple. So this is an example of multiple media queries. Just I'm defining just combinations, how we can write and define, right? We can apply in different examples and we can see how they will work actually, right? Next important is inverting the queries. So inverting the queries means how you can define the queries negation, how you can invert the queries. So that is important. Actually, inverting the queries, the combination how we can define is by using not, we can manage that inverting the query, negation of query. That means the negation of queries we can combine with a combination also we can write. Generally, sometimes we go and write the queries like this. So how we define the negations is we write like media, not. We can use not. And we can combine. So media, not, and here we can add some options like all, and we can define some monochrome, monochrome. And what effects it should have, we need to configure the effects for that actually. Actually, this media, not all, and monochrome, this is a combination. This is a combination of configuring the effects. configuring the effects. Usually monochrome is a monitor like color or what kind of monitor you want. We don't need this monochrome anymore. Just what you can do here is you can say that, so if it is not screen, if it is not screen, if it is not screen, and you can just put, so you can put body, and the body color should be gray. That means what does it indicates? Because we have several, like we have screen, we have speech, we have print. Now not negate indicates if it is not screen, then apply. Everywhere else it will work with that effects. That you can manage by using not. If it is not screen and it is something else which can be print or which can be speech, then apply these effects. You can write in this way. We can configure in this way. This is an example for negation. So this is an example for negation. Negation of media query. We can add the negation of media query in this way, saying that not, we can use not. And generally, compatibility issues also we can address, because old version browsers, they cannot understand. So they cannot understand media queries. Media queries are for modern browsers. To make the media queries understand for older versions, usually, we have to define by using only. That means if I define only for old version browsers, we don't see this very much regularly for modern browsers. It doesn't have any effect on modern browsers also. We have to just write as media only screen. That is for old version browsers, only screen. And you can add your queries, and the width is how much and all, we can define that. This only is not required, so it is for old version browsers. To improve the compatibility, we have to use this, right? So if anyone asks what is the purpose of this only, actually only is not required. So this is for improving with old version. So that means compatibility of media queries with legacy browsers. Legacy browsers are nothing but old version browsers. For compatibility with old version browsers, we have this only option used. Because media queries are not understandable to old version browsers, we need this, right? So that is how the combinations we use. So technically, when we are working with how to configure, means when we are working with the basic responsive designs, these media queries will play the key role. Especially certain browsers have problem in understanding the media queries. So that's the reason we have to use these media queries for different browsers. Those I will tell you for different browsers how we can add. For Chrome compatibility, for Microsoft compatibility, how do we use? We will discuss that in the next level. We will see how we can handle that. This is just understanding about how to work with the media queries and use the media queries. That is responsive designs, how we can create responsive design. This is under responsive design. We discussed a few points, how to handle that, right? Next, after understanding all this, now we need to go into several other options. So, and work with the other types of effects, how to deal with them, how do we work with them, right? So till now we have learned only creating of layouts. What is a flex design, grid design? So what are the positions, how we can create the positions, how you can create multi-columns, how we can create responsive web designs. These are all the points we discussed. Actually, all these we have to combine and create some examples. So for later we will see them, how to design and work with them. Yeah. Now, after understanding this, now we need to go into the other options in styles. So let's see what are all the other options in styles. How do we work with the styles, right? So in CSS, especially after understanding these layouts and designs, so we need to know about how to create effects for configure effects for text, borders, shading, backgrounds, how we can manage all those, right? Let's see how we can manage all those options. So the first important we need to know in the CSS is about, I will create a new document. Yeah. So we need to first understand about how do we work with backgrounds and borders. One by one, we will see all other options now, how we can work with backgrounds and borders, text effects, so different types of options to use, tables, forms, how we can design them, right? So first option in the backgrounds and the borders, so styling the background, how we can define the background. So for that, actually, first we will see the concept of background. Yeah. So background actually, yeah. The first option you should know that the CSS background property is a shorthand method of shorthand shorthand for defining all background styles. So that is the actually CSS background option is, right? It comprises of so many things. Which already we learned. Already we know few options, like, so you can define background individually by using the following properties. Let's see individually how we can define. That is a shorthand way. Shorthand way means all of them can be applied by using that. First, individually, how we can define, how we can handle individually. What are the options we are having? So what are the properties we are having? Let's see. So let's create a simple option to understand the background options, right? So this is background property and description. What are the background properties you have to know, and the description. First important background property which we were using from so many days is a background color. Already we know that. So it sets a background color for any element. It sets a background color for any element. So technically you can define background color for any element, and you know already. So what are the options is In order to define a background color, you know that color color can be defined by using color name or hexadecimal value and RGB. So color can be defined by using this. Later we can see some more options also how we can define, right? First important is background color can be defined any one of these, and we already know RGB, and I told you RGBA alpha also we can configure. Colors already we discussed. No need of any example because already in every example we were trying that, right? We are using it. Just to say body. So, and here we have background color. Some light green, that is the background color. And this background color we can give a name, and already it will apply it, or we can use any color shade. You know how to define. So that is FF. So suppose 00 FDD, and you can so red, green, blue values you need to configure, and already we know that how we can configure those. We already discussed about working with background, working with colors, different types of colors, how we can manage color values. So red value, it should be ranging from 0 to 255, right? Maximum 0 to 255, you know that. That means RGB, I said 220, 210, then 200, then 100. So then it will get us a certain color here, which will be applied there. So this is generally how we can define the background. One more is there, A. This requires an alpha. Alpha is transparency, how you want. 0.4, then it will keep more transparent here. RGBA, we can define that. So we know all the colors and all the options how we can apply. This is just an example for you as per the order of learning here, because already in every example we used background colors. This is the background color. Next important in the background, we need to understand about background image. Instead of background color, we can put a background image. So it sets a background image for any element. So any container element, usually any container element, because you can see the background colors only for the container elements usually, right? So background color for any container elements. Backgrounds you can watch for container elements. So usually we can put a background picture. How we can add a background picture is, so we can just define the background picture by using background image. So which uses, actually it uses URL method to configure the image URL. So which image you want to display, it uses the image URL. So background, we can define background image. So here how we can put a background image instead of the background text. Just what we have to do is we need to keep a background image option URL. So we need to define the path. So it is in images, some logo.png. That logo will be used as background here. How to see now, we will discuss about that. But initially we can put a background image. Instead of background color, we can put a background image. We can put background multiple images also. That also I will tell you. For that, we need some more options to understand. This is how we can keep a background image picture. So I am currently applying for body. For any container, you can apply that background image, right? So this is setting up a background picture. And this is an example of simply how you can keep a background picture. Instead of background color, we can put a background image. Now, after defining the background image, so usually if it is a small image, then we have the option like background repeat. We have background repeat. Usually, suppose see here, suppose this is the original size. This is the original size of our page. And you can see there is a background image here. And background image is present all over like tiles. So background repeat. So it defines the tiling behavior for images. Styling behavior for images. So it can use the following values. Tiling, it can use the following values. So it can use the following values. What are the values it can use actually? So that means tiling values it can use. Tiling values, like we have option like no repeat. So we have option like repeat X. We have option like repeat Y. We have option like repeat. By default, it is actually repeat. We can use these values for changing the repeating behavior. You can see currently, so this is background image, and we have to write an option. So background -repeat. So repeat as no repeat. No repeat indicates the background image will not repeat, only one will come. We can use repeat, it will repeat. By default, it is repeat. We can use repeat X, it will repeat on X-axis. X-axis means one beside another. We can say repeat Y, it can repeat on Y-axis. So we can define the combinations. We can configure the combinations. So if you don't want to repeat, then you can just define. Another option is, so background size, how we can manage repeat. So here we say repeat, or we say no repeat. It will not repeat, it will be this. We can adjust the background size. We can adjust the background size. Then this is up to that example. Let's take this one. So this is background image and background repeat, how we can define. Another option is, so we can keep background size. We can keep background size. So how we can configure the background size? We can define the background size. Usually the background size, you can use height, width in pixels. So percentages, so you can define the length, right? We can configure size in pixels or percent or EM or relative positions, anything we can use. So we can also use some predefined values. We can also use the predefined values. So how we can define the predefined values actually is, suppose we are defining, so background size in pixels. So how we can define is, it defines the size of background image. So in pixel, in length and percentage. So it can also have values like it can have all values like You have values like we have cover and contain. Cover and contain are the values actually. We can use the values like cover and contain for background size actually. Technically, so we are defining so background hyphen size as some 20% width and 30% height, width and height. That means it will keep 20-30% width and height. Suppose I defined here, so pixels, suppose 100 pixels and 200. So I define this. Suppose it is width 200 pixels, 200 pixels. We can adjust the width and height of that particular and we can configure. In pixels or in percent, you can define that. You can define background here. So that you can use directly, we can configure that here. And we have predefined options also for that. We have predefined values also. Like we can give background as cover, we can give background as contain, like predefined values we can define. Actually, this is suitable good when you are keeping in a box like style, contain and cover like options actually, not for background, it is suitable. Later, I will design a card style and show you how we can keep in a cover style and configure in a cover style. Actually, suppose we are defining some card style like appearance here. So suppose we have a div and class as card. And here we are adding a div. And here we have an image. SRC is images some speaker.jpg. Okay. And this is a image we are keeping in the div. Actually, for what I will do is I'll keep this class as card header. Okay. And we have a div, so class as card body. Temporarily, we are keeping some heading like JBL speaker, and we have some paragraph. So here we displayed some ampersand hash 8377 semicolon, and here we defined some price. Okay, like this. So just some options we have defined, and this is the design actually. That is the design. And for the card, I am defining dot card and box border as 2 pixels solid, so dark cyan. Okay, and we have width as 200 pixel and height as 300 pixel. Width and height is adjusted for that card. Okay, and I just give padding as 20 pixel padding for that. It will keep that. Okay, and usually in the card header we are displaying some image. So that means the card header, so we have dot card header. For card header, we will just give background image URL we are bringing from images, and that is speaker.jpg. And background size for that image we will set as suppose cover. That is the background size for that image we kept. So here you can see that. So the image need to be displayed there. And that is the container, and header don't have any content inside it. Don't have any content inside it. It is normal. So even you define the height and width because there is no content inside it. because we kept as background image. Suppose here we have some heading like speaker. So GB, this heading we will keep at the card headers location. So later we can keep transparency here. Okay. Now we need, so the card header to keep that background image. So background image and display the background image. Actually, we are displaying for the only header. We will keep that at the header. Its a size should fit correctly into it. Why? Because see, suppose I applied this to entire card. I'm configuring this to entire card. You can see it will be like this. Card header also, it is having the image. It is having the image. But one of the main problem in that is it is having the image, but lot of white space is there. So, and it is somewhere kept below. In the card header, it is unable to show. Suppose see, directly I defined in the background of this. Okay, in the background of this directly we configured. So now suppose we are defining here background size as cover. Background size as cover. You can see that the cover is the default approach here. Suppose I defined as background contain. So background, we are trying to define contain. You can see it can fit into that. Contain cover is the default appearance style. That means it will be default. Contain will keep that contained inside it. Keep that contained inside it. Background, it keeps it contained inside it. And of course, we don't want it to repeat. That means we say background repeat as no repeat. That means it will not repeat. Only one. And it contains inside it. It contains inside it. When you are adjusting, it will correct fit into this. Adjusting, it will correct fit into this. So where you keep the other contents that you are wish. That means suppose I am changing this card header with some size, some top margin we can change and keep. We can keep background, so transparency also. We will learn how to keep background transparent here. Initially, image size and repeat. We have two options. We have cover, that is the default style of image display, default image, and contain, so it will keep it fit into that area. So how you can keep the other contents, that depends on your requirement, how you define the other contents. I will show you vertical alignments, top, bottom, how we can manage that. That means I say card header. So you will say margin top, so margin top, and as suppose 100 pixel margin top. So that card header, it will move a little bit, some 200. Just I'm roughly giving it, then it will be in this. Later we can keep different effects and we can keep in proper size. Later we will create some proper card like, and we will apply this cover and contain like options, how to manage them. Now this image is background. Actually it is not image. It's a background image for the card. It can be background for that particular card at any levels of zooming, and it will correctly fit into it. That you can manage by using this. This is just a simple design of how we can keep with predefined values, the like cover, or we can put contain. Contain is the best option to keep it fit into that background size. That is background size. Another important, so background, we have position. So we have background position. Background position is that position. Usually background position, that means it can define the position of element. It can define the position of background image. So actually in 9 ways we can define actually background position as. So actually the position contains horizontally, we can configure left, center and right. Vertically you can set top, center and bottom. So we can use the combination of these, horizontal and vertical. You can also define in pixels. So you can also define in pixels the position actually for the background. Actually, if background size is not contained, background size is suppose some 50 pixels and 50 pixels height and width. So the background image will be like this. Very small is that background image is very small. So like 100 pixels and 100 pixels I will give. That is the background image actually. I want to change its position. If I can change the position, I want to change the position, then I can keep like this. Background position, so position we can keep as center. This is horizontal position, this is vertical position. First one is horizontal, second one vertical. Center, it will keep correctly center of that particular container. Suppose I said top center, so we say top center, then it will give top center, right? So if I say right center, so then it will give right center. Vertically center, horizontally left, center and right. And if I give center, it keeps exactly centered position. So it keeps exactly centered position. Horizontal, vertical, you can give the combination of both of them. You can define, so this is how we can give the background position actually. And we can define the background position in pixels also. We can configure in pixels. Background position pixels is suppose x-axis, y-axis. X-axis 50 pixels, so y-axis 100 pixels. XY position, so then based on that it will keep that X and Y. X and Y position. Y position is also 50 pixels above little bit because already padding is there for us. So if it is like minus 50 pixels, it will go above. So that means it will go outside. So that is how it can manage 150 pixel, then it will come below. Outside, it gone outside, right? So if it is 50 pixel, then it will keep it in that position. Horizontal and vertical. So positions you can define by using pixels. Background position you can define with pixels. So you can configure like this, background position in pixels also. So, and you can understand the position only when it is not defined with repeat, because if it is repeating, then position will not work. So you need to make sure that it is not repeating in order to define the position. It is not repeating, right? That's important. So how we can use. Now, once you know this, you can keep multiple background images. We can keep multiple background positions actually. So generally, we can keep multiple pictures and we can configure the positions based on that also. And that I will tell you, we have to use a combination here. One more important after position is we have background attachment. Background attachment indicates how it defines the values that specify how background behaves. the content scrolls. So usually you have you can define the following values for the background. What are the values we can define? We can define scroll, and we can define fixed, and we can define as local. So this is not supported for every browser. For especially Internet Explorer 9 and higher version, it's because Internet Explorer cannot use these background attachments actually. Technically, issues will come, older versions issues will come. Background attachment is nothing but, for example, so here, so background is this, and you have a lot of paragraphs of information. Suppose I keep another div and some paragraphs of information is present. So generally, we will keep some paragraphs of information there about the product description or something, some paragraphs information I will copy. Okay, so here I keep a heading as product details. Okay, I will keep some paragraphs information here. So this is one paragraph, and so this is another paragraph. Some paragraphs information is here. Okay, now you can see, so we have a lot of contents there. Now usually what happens is for the card I defined as overflow as scroll. Anything overflows, it will scroll. And you can see that the background image is there, directly there. And only the content is scrolling, because background position we make it at specific location. It will keep at that particular location actually. So you can see the background image is at particular position, right? Usually when you are defining, because the position is fixed, then it will always keep at that particular position, rest of content will scroll. You can observe this difference even better when you are applying for the body. Suppose temporarily I'm defining here background.html. Okay, temporarily for the body section we are applying here HTML head and style. Okay, and the body. In the body we have some paragraphs. Okay, and here we defined body, and background image URL is images speaker.jpg. Okay, and this is having a background image, and we know we can use the other attributes like background repeat as no repeat. Okay, so background position as center. Okay, and it will keep in this way. And we have some more paragraphs of information. So we have more paragraphs of information. Let's copy and paste some paragraphs of information. Usually you can see, so you can see the image will scroll along with the content. So what we do here is it will scroll along with the content. Here what we do is, here we can keep the style. We can keep the style here. As a background so attachment as fixed. When I keep background attachment fixed, it will be fixed. Now it will not be scrolling. Previously background is scrolling along with the text. We can keep it fixed. Right? So that you can apply by using fixed. So by default it will scroll. We can keep that fixed, background fixed. So it depends on where you are keeping the image, how the position is defined, all these are important for that. This is a simple example for background attachment, how you can configure the attachment, right? Now, by using these options, we will see how we can handle multiple images, how we can apply background shading, background gradients, how we can define them. That we will see tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we'll continue with this.